Hey, it's Cashflow Mike, and welcome back to another episode of the Clear Path to Cash podcast. This week we're going to be talking about why smart advisors still hesitate, why they won't pull that trigger. I'm talking to an advisor just last week who said, Mike, I know I'm good at this, right? But there's still moments where I hesitate. There's still moments where I just don't feel comfortable and confident, and I knew exactly what he meant. He wasn't talking about not understanding the numbers. He wasn't talking about being unprepared. He was talking about that small moment in a client conversation where the client looks at you and asks, what do we do next? That moment carries more weight than people realize. He told me about a meeting with a business owner who had been growing, but the owner just didn't feel comfortable anymore, right? The reports looked fine at first glance. Revenues were up. Business had activity. But I'm going to actually say it this way. There was no obvious emergency. But the owner kept saying, I don't understand why this just feels tight. Like, I don't know where the money goes. It just feels like it's too tight. The advisor understood the situation well enough that he was going to talk about several different possible causes. He could have gone into margins. He could have talked about collections. He could have brought up debt service. All of those things would have been reasonable places to go. But that's why he hesitated. Because when you have too many reasonable directions in your head, then the pressure increases. And, the client needs clarity. And you're trying to create it while the conversation's happening, in the moment, not later. So we pulled the client into that Clear Path to Cash app and slowed the situation way down. The system helped narrow down the conversation. Instead of trying to explain every possible reason the business felt tight, the advisor started with the pressure that the owner felt. Started with the pain, right? The burning issue. It was the pressure that the owners were describing that followed it back to the numbers. And once they did that, the issue was a lot easier to see. See, cash wasn't tagged tight in this business because the business lacked activity. It was tight because growth was pulling more working capital from the owner than he realized. That changed how the advisor responded. He didn't need the client to understand a big, long explanation, right? Or he didn't need a menu of possibilities. It could be this, it could be this, it could be this. He could just show the owner what was happening and then move towards the next very step, right? The focused next step. And that's where confidence comes from. It isn't about having a perfect answer ready when the meeting starts. It comes from having a process that helps you find the answer while your client's sitting right there in front of you. And smart advisors hesitate when the situation gets too wide. And that's where the Clear Path to Cash kind of helps you narrow it. Because what happens is that we guide you to the next step. Once you know it's a burning issue of cash flow, the recommended next step is in front of you. Then once you identify what's causing it to give it the most pressure, like in mining your business for hidden cash, we'll say it's operating expense, then you can use the cost analysis tool to focus on that. The Clear Path to Cash gives you focus, which in turn is going to give you confidence. And if you've ever felt that pause before, like you didn't know what was going to do next, then the demo is going to be worth your time, right? Get into the Clear Path to Cash demo and walk through the stages, F-I-X. Find the burning issue, identify what's causing it to burn by using one of the 20 plus tools that are in the app itself, and then execute. Create an action and see that move from pending to in progress to completed, and you'll know the feeling your client has when they win. And I'll tell you what, why not do this? Why not walk through it with a real client, right? A real client question in mind, something your client may have asked you last week, and pay attention to how the system helps you find the next move. Because that moment, that one we all pause at, the one that causes a little bit of hesitation, we know it. And the Clear Path to Cash was built for that moment.
Cash flow, Mike. Clear path to cash. Cash flow, Mike. No turning back. Cash flow, Mike. Straight through the dust. Cash flow, Mike. We trust. We trust. We trust. We trust.